Alicia.
LeBron James.
Hi, I'm Tom.
David.
Christy. Markia.
To raise awareness for ALS, last year I poured a bucket of water over my head and posted a video on Instagram. A few days later, my coworkers did it, and by the end of the week, everyone I knew was doing the same thing. According to CNN, more than 17 million people participated in the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge last year. Nationally, the ALS Association, the organization behind the challenge, raised over $115 million in donations. Forbes contributor Steve Alinsky stated the challenge showed how social media can be harnessed, directed, and even managed for social good. Nevertheless, what happened to all the money? It's a year later, and the ALS Association reports on their website that they divided the money into 3 buckets. Bucket number 1, $77 million for research. Bucket number 2, $23 million for patient community services. And bucket number 3, $15 million for public education and awareness. Well, of the $115 million raised, $77 million will go towards research, like I said. On average, within 2 to 5 years after an ALS diagnosis, patients lose their ability to breathe and eventually die. According to the CNN article, 1 year later, the ALS Ice Bucket money goes to. Currently, there is no cure for the disease, and only one drug can modestly even extend survival. As a result, the ALS Association is spending the $77 million to different research projects to find a treatment and eventually cure ALS. Although the majority of funds will be going towards research, the ALS Association also wants to increase public and private support by providing $23 million towards patient and community services. So let's get into bucket number 2. John Benefield, in his article, reports that the ALS Association is budgeting $8.5 million to its 39 local ALS chapters. And that $8.5 million will go to varying initiatives to provide iPads and laser pointers and even supply canes and wheelchairs to help ALS patients get around. Even more, according to the ALS Association, the public policy efforts in Washington, D.C. has raised the profile of ALS to congressmen and the White House, and even within several federal agencies. According to the ALS Association, the association was even able to eliminate the 24-month waiting period that it took people disabled with ALS to have to wait for Medicare. And that's awesome. Now that we know how the donations have been used for patient and community services, I'll tell you about how the organization will use the remainder of the $77 million to continue public education and awareness. Bucket number 3, which is $15 million for education and public awareness. The ALS Association says it will spend $15 million to fundraise to maintain the support of the donors it picked up during last year's ALS Ice Bucket Challenge. Money goes towards a variety of initiatives to educate public about the causes of ALS, and it helps doctors and researchers learn more about this disease that will help fight ALS in the future. Through public outreach, media relations, and social media, and the internet, the association will continue to raise awareness about ALS and search for a cure, according to the ALS Association. Well, today I've talked to you about exactly what the donations from the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge have done for ALS associations across the nation. And just to reiterate, the donations went into 3 spending buckets. Bucket number 1, $77 million for research. Bucket number 2, $23 million for patient and community services. Bucket number 3, $15 million for public education and awareness. After this, I hope you have a better understanding of not only what has been done with the donations, but how much of an impact the social media has had on the ALS Association overall and its patients. The ALS Association just kicked off this year's ALS Ice Bucket Challenge a couple days ago, and the association is asking that you guys take part in it again, like you did last year, so they can find a cure. Will you be participating in this year's Ice Bucket Challenge?
Yay!